Ayo, what's good, Double Clutch Nation? It's your boy Y Ghost, and today I'm joined by
Devin.
And what are we going to be doing today, Devin?
Reading Am I the A-hole Reddit stories.
And how many have you prepared for us today since you are the expert?
I think 6.
She thinks 6, so maybe 7. And if you guys get the chance, could you leave a like, subscribe, and let us know if you enjoy the video. Getting into that, what is our first story you have prepared for us today, Devin?
Am I the a-hole for wanting my roommate to stop having sex while I'm home? I live in a small apartment with one roommate. A weird quirk of our place is that we don't have any interior doors, just curtains separating the rooms. I knew this going in, and for the most part, it's not a problem. But there's one issue. My roommate and her boyfriend are loud when they're together. Like, I can hear everything loud. I'm not trying to shame them for having a sex life. I get that living with others means you give up some privacy, but this isn't just an occasional thing, and it's not quiet. Here's the thing. I'm out of the apartment a lot. I'm gone at least 2 weekends a month, and am often out with friends during the week. There's plenty of time when the place is empty and they could do their thing without me being home. Her boyfriend has his own place, so it's not like they have to use our apartment all the time. I've already talked to her about it politely, but nothing has changed. We're looking into installing at least one door for her room, but that's still in the works. So now I'm stuck wondering if I'm being unreasonable by asking her to be more considerate when I'm around, or if I should just suck it up, put in headphones, and deal with it since I knew what I was getting into.
All right. So I used to have a roommate, and luckily we had doors. It's kind of crazy to not have doors and just have curtains. And if anything, maybe I'm tripping, but I think they should get the door so they can close it when they need to instead of giving them the door. I don't know. But I don't think it's reasonable to expect them to schedule their time when you're not around. Sometimes things just happen in the heat of the moment, and I think the best thing they could do is try to be quiet. With the information given, I'd say they're probably not the asshole, but I don't think the friends are either, but I do think that the friends are more inconsiderate. Or roommates. I don't even know if they said they're friends, but still, I think that if anyone's the asshole, it's probably the friends just for being slightly inconsiderate, but also they live there and they're not going to schedule everything in their relationships, intimacy life around when you're there. Though it does suck, I can't really blame them for that.
I think that they're not the asshole, but why do you just have curtains?
But yeah, no, install a door, and you should probably get that door so you can choose when you want to close it or not. I mean, you're the one with the privacy issue, so I think if anyone should get the door, you should. But honestly, I don't think you're an asshole. I also just think it is what it is. It's one of those situations where you kind of have to suck it up, or move out. And that's just, if it's that big of a problem, then it is. But I'm going to be honest, if I got an apartment with friends, I'm going to try to be mindful, of course, but I'm not going to purposefully, stop or delay or decrease anything that would be going on because, honestly, why would I? It's my living space that I pay for, that I want to be comfortable and be my true self in, and I think that if it's done in my room and not in a nasty or gross way, then it should be pretty much my boundaries within the confines of my relationship. Especially, it kind of depends on if the partner's paying, but if they're paying their half of rent and they're consistent, it sucks, but it kind of is what it is. So I'm going to say no one's the asshole here. But maybe I would lean towards the person who wrote it just for going out of their way to write it. And, I don't know. I think the solution could be a lot better too. But what would you say is your final verdict?
I swear I wasn't being a dick on my phone. I was looking up the cost of a door.
You're good.
And I was wondering why they didn't get a new door.
How much is the door?
$500 to $1,500. I would say nobody's the asshole. You have a problem and you need to fix it, and you can all discuss it because I think there's nothing that crazy.
Yeah. Communication is something necessary, and that'll happen. But yeah, no, that was a fun one. I remember when I had my apartment, there was a weird dynamic going on within the confines of my apartment. At first, communication was perfect, and everything was kind of getting chipped. But if you decide to go away from that communication and not voice your uncomforts, or just talk to other people about it instead of addressing the problem to the person, then it can make it a lot more hard. Do you have another story for us?
Yes.
Also, in the comments, leave what you think about that one. But let's get on to the next one, which is...
Am I the asshole for making my sister's gender reveal cake gray because she wouldn't tell me the gender? I, 23 male, bake as a hobby, and I'm actually pretty good at it. Like, I get paid under the table for weddings and baby showers, kind of good. My sister is pregnant and wanted me to make the cake for her gender reveal. Cool, no problem. I asked her to send me the info so I could prep the inside, classic pink or blue filling. She says, "Oh no, I want to be surprised too. Just make it neutral for the reveal and we'll all find out together." I was like, "Huh? So you want a gender reveal cake with no gender revealed?" She says she'll have someone email me the info later. That someone never did. Deadline comes and I still have no gender, so I make the cake. It's gray inside, gray outside, just full on cement vibe. I even added little fondant clouds for effect. It still tasted great, but visually, grim. The reveal day comes, they cut into it, and my sister looks pissed. Her husband is confused. People start murmuring. Then she pulls me aside like, "Why would you make it gray? That's so passive-aggressive." Calmly reminded her that no one told me the gender. I literally had no data to work with. I told her I wasn't about to guess or go full improv on someone's baby cake. Now my mom says I embarrassed her in front of the family and that I should have tried harder. Tried harder to do what? Summon the gender through vibe? So am I the asshole for making the most neutral reveal cake in history? Edit. I actually did follow up. Asked her a couple days before the reveal if the info had been sent, and she just said something like, "Yeah, someone's taking care of it." I figured it was handled. I didn't want to pester her since she seemed chill about it at the time.
Okay, they are the asshole. But follow up doesn't mean, hey, here's a text and I'm not going to ask you more questions. You got to say, hey, I don't have what gender the baby's supposed to be. I can't make this cake unless I know. I need to know, you know? So even if she gives you the message, yeah, someone's taking care of it, I'm assuming that she's assuming that it's being taken care of. If it hasn't been or there's no word, you should make that more of a point. The day before should have been something. Leading up, I really hope they didn't pay you for that. What did they do at your cousin's baby shower when they revealed the gender?
They did, like the powder poppers. Is that what it is?
I think, yeah, it was something like that.
And then
Yeah. Imagine they did that and it was literally nothing. One, Mason would have been absolutely thrilled because there would have still been a chance it was going to be a boy. He would have been the only person who would have been happy if it was gray, because everyone else would have just been like, okay, let's leave. Like, I don't know. It kind of ruins the whole thing.
he's like 8.
Yeah.
Because if people think he's like 20 and he's an asshole.
No. He's cute. He's my dad, actually. But, no, I think, if it would have been gray, it just feels like everyone wasted their time going out. And I know that sounds stupid, but, like, that is what it becomes, because if they had no other plans of a way to show the gender, then not only are the parents in the unknown, but everyone who showed up for this event, for the thing, are in the unknown. And it is your fault because you didn't warn anyone. You just watched the chaos happen, and I kind of love you for that. I would do that too, but, like, wow. I don't know. What's your thoughts?
I think he's the asshole because if I were in his shoes, I know that's a big deal, and I definitely would have asked multiple times and been a dickhead about it, to find out the gender.
It's not even being a dickhead. It's just being on point.
I don't know. I don't understand why he thought that, like, they were the crazy ones. I think that was the most crazy part to me. Is like he totally felt like he was in the right, and I think that's what's kind of wild to me. I think he's the asshole. That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't really think there's a doubt. I mean, there's no way the people are the asshole, because, like, yeah, it is embarrassing. And it doesn't even sound like they made a huge deal about it. And everyone who like maybe flew in, people don't fly in for baby showers, but maybe anyone who took the time, yeah, we might. What the hell? Yeah.
It's gonna be gray.
Anyone who took that time just had their time not wasted, but like unfulfilled. It kind of ruins the whole event. So I think that this person's definitely the asshole, and I'm glad we agree on that because it's not really much of a debate. But I do think it's really funny. And say one day I become a chef of cakes who makes for baby gender reveals. Maybe I'll just have a villain arc one day, and I'll start making people gray cakes before I go on a rampage of bakery. I don't know. But what is our next story, Devin?
The next story I'm so excited for because it's really funny. Everyone said he wasn't the asshole, but am I the asshole for asking my flatmate to stop washing poop off in the shower instead of wiping?
Who is a flatmate? Is that like a roommate?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
roommate. I, 30 male, have a Belgian border 20 male, which I think that's just his roommate, who's moving out in 4 weeks. For the past year and 3 months, I've taken care of all the cleaning, especially the bathroom, and bought nearly all the shared products, including toilet paper. He's never cleaned the bathroom once. He's tidied it twice. I gave up because he becomes very defensive being asked to clean, and I wish to avoid conflict. Last week, I noticed the toilet roll had ended. Since I'd stopped buying it as I'd switched to wipes and just keep them on me, I asked him about it. That's when he told me he hasn't been wiping. Instead, he just jumped straight into the shower we share after taking a dump because he thinks it's cleaner. I became dizzy and nauseous and sick and honestly filled with rage. He even referred to something called a perfect, where apparently he doesn't need to wipe at all. He was blatantly jumping around the convo, trying his best to find a lie to justify why, but he knew I knew, so it was so strange to me. His response was trying to win the conversation rather than realizing what he was actually revealing he'd been doing for a week. I told him as calmly as I could I wasn't okay with this because I don't want to be standing barefoot in the same shower where he's been rinsing literal shit from his hole. He got defensive, said I was overreacting, and claimed it's totally normal. He also dodged responsibility and tried to shift the blame onto me for not being aware that it's better to not wipe and just shower. Here's where I might be the asshole. I was blunt about how disgusting I find the habits. I raised my voice, but I was respectful. I told him I think it's disrespectful to treat a shared space like that. He felt judged and got defensive again to back the convo off. I get that everyone has different hygiene preferences, but he did this for 7 days.
So we're looking into getting a place with probably roommates, and I know there was one where we had a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom possibility. And imagine.
Well, I don't think Joey's gonna rinse shit.
Well, no one's talking about Joey. But, like, just imagine, okay? That would be so wild. That would be so wild. And when do we find out? When there's poop on the shower? They do the cleaning.
How did it, like, what if he never brought it up?
They do the cleaning. They would have been, like, on their... I don't know how you clean your bathtub at home, but I get into it, man. I get on my hands and knees, and I be scrubbing. I'd be on my hands and knees in unscrubbed shit, and I wouldn't even know. Unless it's, like, obvious. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, it gets washed away, so you don't know.
What if he pushes it with his toes down the grate?
Ew. That don't make me... I'm visualizing it. That's just... No. No. No.
Wait.
No.
I'm confused.
No.
Wait, can I talk for a moment? I'm just confused. Because if he's not wiping, what if the poop is stuck on his butt? Because... Do you got to get your hand up in there? Are you getting your loofah up in there? Have you some... Does it not smell?
I don't know.
I'm a little confused. I would say he's not the asshole.
Yeah,
I think,
he's not the asshole.
shitting and then washing the shit off in the shower that you share with somebody, that's a tongue twister. is disgusting. I don't think you should do that. And I don't know if I want more info, but I think there's more info to be had.
So if I did that, what would you do?
How would I find out?
If I just told you I haven't been using toilet paper, I find this way better, and this is what I'm going to do. Would you stay around?
If I asked you not to, would you change?
This is what I'm locked in for. I'm going to be washing poop out of my butt for the rest of my life.
I would stay if we had separate bathrooms.
That's fair. I'm guessing they're almost complete strangers because one's 30, one's 20, and they're from different places, it seems like. Which I could just imagine, being a 30-year-old and being like, damn, my roommate's this kid, and he just fucking don't clean, puts his shitty little duty booty all up in my toilet, and like, oh shit, in my shower? I don't know. And he's defensive about it, and like, I like him. He seems confident. He defended himself, and maybe I would too. I don't think the method is that crazy. I think the ability to own up to it, defend it, and not see the issue the person is taking with it being their shared space is the problem, and I think that's what makes them the asshole. Our 4th out of 6 stories, and the title of this one is...
Am I the asshole for telling my 6-year-old niece that her father is going to die soon, even after he told me not to? I don't know where to start. I will try to keep this as short and simple as possible, but it is kind of a long story. I am quite nervous to post this because I don't look the best in this story. Last July, my brother, 29 male, I will call him Sam without using his real name, was getting really bad headaches and migraines. It turns out that he has a tumor in his brain. It is intertwined with essential brain structures, basically meaning that it cannot be removed. His prognosis? The time they gave him was a year to survive.
Yeah.
Sam told me and our parents, and we were devastated to receive the news. This is where it gets complicated. Sam has a little 6-year-old girl who I'll call Lily. He is a single father, and he refused to tell her. I could not disagree with this more. My parents also agree that Lily deserves to know, but they don't insist on telling her against Sam's wishes. Well, I snapped on Sunday. It was late, like 2 a.m. late. Lily calls me and is screaming and crying because Daddy fell and won't wake up. I guess she doesn't know to call 911. I tell her I will be right there, and then I call 911. At their house, Lily is sobbing and has no idea why Sam passed out because she still doesn't know. Long story short, at the hospital, the doctors tell me and my parents that Sam had a seizure, and the severity of his condition is accelerating faster than they'd like. After all this chaos, I bring Lily to my house and sit down with her. I tell her as gently and kid-friendly as I can that Daddy is very sick and is unfortunately going to pass away soon. It was so hard to tell her, and she didn't take the news well. She started crying and banging her head on the wall because she doesn't want him to leave. This broke my heart, and I started to regret telling her. Sam called me a few days later pissed. Why did I tell Lily? I wasn't ready for her to know yet. She hasn't come out of her room all day. It wasn't yours to tell. From what I've heard and seen, Lily doesn't talk to Sam, and I can see their relationship is strained. I feel horrible, but I also feel that Lily needed to know what Sam wasn't telling her. What if he had died that night? She would be traumatized, and I don't want that for her. Sam isn't talking to me. Lily is not talking to me. I feel awful, but she needed to know, didn't she? Am I the asshole?
The OP said that Lily would have been traumatized if their dad died that night. Which, yeah, any kid would be traumatized if their parent died at any point. But your solution was, let me traumatize them before they get traumatized when their dad does die shortly soon. And I guess that's to prepare them or not leave them in the unknown. But she is so young that her dad dying is just going to be, something that happens at an age where you're just realizing that death is a thing and you're just, starting to become your own person. And their dad's all they have. It's a single parent, and it's really upsetting, I think, to tell them, because you're just traumatizing them before they're going to be traumatized. And I don't know if it's right, but a kid isn't going to know what's going on. So if their dad did die in like a month from now, when they're older, they're not going to maybe know, oh, my dad knew he was going to die. Like, depending on what the family tells them, that could have just been an accident. And that's probably what they were going to do, or what the dad wanted to do, was it to just be an accident once it did happen, so that it didn't, worry her leading up to it. And, it was just like the same thing if someone else died randomly and it wasn't predetermined. You're just going to take it for what it is. So I don't think traumatizing her twice makes it any better, especially when the person who's dying, who's going through all of this, who has all the emotions of knowing that it's not going to be much longer, and still raising their daughter probably the best they can, that's their decision. And you're definitely the asshole. And I apologize for trying to be on the other side of this at first.
I think they're the asshole, but a lot of people don't know when their family members are going to die, and they can still get over it and still grow from it. I get she's a little kid. I think that instead of telling the little girl, she should have shat.
No.
OP should have sat, what was it, her brother?
I think so.
Her brother down and had a long conversation and tried to convince him to tell her. I think it would be way better if the little girl heard it from her dad first, and I think it's crazy that she automatically assumed that her brother was going to die and was like straight up jumping to tell his daughter.
They snapped, which means they were angry about it, which is wild. I don't know.
I know. I can understand why she was upset, because she doesn't want her niece not to know, and it just happened. But I think one thing that the original poster has to realize is that a lot of people die, and it's not always
predetermined.
Yeah, it you never know when they're going to die. So I get she's a little girl, but a lot of people go through it, and I think she would have been able to get through it. I think telling her made you look like an asshole in her eyes, and not only her eyes, but my eyes as well.
Yeah, and it just traumatizes her twice, because now you told her that, and then her dad's actually going to die, which is going to traumatize her again. Instead, it would have just been the one time, which, probably better to avoid trauma at a young age than add on to it. But, yeah, definitely an asshole. I don't think there's any doubt. And, Devin, what is our 5th Reddit story that you have for us?
Am I the asshole for not saying anything about the underwear?
What underwear?
They were determined the asshole.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
They were determined the asshole.
Was the underwear in the asshole?
I don't know, but I will read it and we will find out. My 20-year-old daughter and her fiancé are currently staying with us. I love my daughter, but she is very difficult and I can't stand her fiancé. I gave them a deadline to move out because I can't take this anymore. They got into a massive fight the other day while my wife was out. I guess a pair of my wife's underwear got in their laundry and she thought he was cheating. I think the fact she immediately jumped to cheating shows how bad their relationship is. She was waving the underwear around and I recognized them because they had a floral print, but I just let this ridiculous fight go on. My wife came home after about 30 minutes and said they were hers. My wife asked if I didn't realize they were hers and I accidentally laughed. My daughter burst into tears and won't talk to me. Her fiancé said we're fucked and left the house, but my wife thought it was funny.
I think it's funny. I love it. I would have done the same thing. If you can't stand them, also they're fighting openly in front of you guys, and I'm gonna be the unemotional asshole, but she thinks it's cheating. She's insecure. I wonder what his defense was. I don't know. It was probably just, I don't know where those came from, but
They're my grandma's.
I hope he didn't try to lie about it. But yeah, no, I think it's hilarious. I don't blame the dad at all. And hopefully, if they truly do love each other and it's meant to be, it'll work out. If they don't, then I think I'm all for the joke. And I don't think he's the asshole. They were fighting. It's not his business to stop their fight. If he didn't say anything, his wife didn't have to say anything either, really. The daughter picked the fight, found the underwear. They can fight. They're not going to live there much longer. And as you're fighting in a place that you're no longer fully welcome because of probably things such as fighting in their space, so what? I don't really care. So, yeah, I don't think the OP is the asshole at all. I think that I would have done the same thing, and I think it's hilarious.
I don't think they're the asshole, but also my opinion could change if I knew maybe the daughter better, maybe not. But I think that why are you fighting in front of your parents? I think they're just in a toxic relationship, and I think the dad was having fun with it because he was pissed. And I probably would have done the same thing.
And it wasn't like he was egging it on. He just left out the detail that he knew.
I think the wife probably feels bad for the daughter. They probably have a closer relationship, I'm guessing, than the dad and the daughter. But I think I would have done the same thing if I was him. If it's his house and he watches them fight on and on.
This asshole.
See, he's the asshole. You see how he overreacts and he's dramatic. He's a little sissy, sassy, piss boy.
My dad's gonna die.
You're not the asshole. You're not. I think it's funny.
Oh, you weren't talking to me.
And I would have done the same thing. Maybe. Maybe not. Probably. If I had the idea, I would.
I think it's easy to say we do the same thing because we're not in the situation, so we don't have to deal with the consequences of that. But it is hilarious. His daughter's not talking to him.
So, I don't think he likes her that much.
Oh my gosh, that's his daughter, you heartless freak. Where's your motherly instinct? Anyways, what's our next story? Not the asshole. This is our fifth.
It's crazy because everybody said he was the asshole.
I guess we're standing out from the crowd. Look at that.
This is the last one.
The last story, and our headline is...
Am I the asshole for letting my brother call me dad and refusing to tell him the ugly truth? This one I picked because it's just it's sweet. I think it's a good thing to leave off on. I'm well aware that this story sounds extremely hard to believe and fake, and I'm aware that there will be many shitpost comments below. Sorry, but this story is 100% true. It is a hot topic of discussion in my family at the moment. I was born when my parents were both 19, and my only other brother, let's call him Josh, was born when they were 42. They divorced shortly after Josh was introduced to the world. He was 4 months old at the time, and they both wanted nothing to do with this child. At the time, I was 23 and I was living alone with my then girlfriend who was 21, now my wife. And I did my best to convince at least one of them to take care of young Josh for his sake and the family's sake, but they refused adamantly and said that I should be taking custody of him instead. So I became the legal guardian of my brother, and he's been living with us for the past 12 years, and things have been going really smooth for us. Josh, now almost 13, has been calling me dad and my wife mom, and our two children, 4 female and 9 male, his siblings, and he has absolutely no idea about his real parents. And to be honest, I let all of that slide. He has no idea that I'm really his blood brother and not his father, and I'm starting to feel guilty and a little weird. Some of my uncles and aunts come to visit occasionally, and they are really disgusted at the fact that he calls me dad, and they are surprised I haven't told him the truth. They constantly message me, talk to me in private, and I cannot chat to them without this one particular topic rising up, badgering me to let him know already, but I refused. I discussed this with my wife, and she thought it would be wrong to tell him the truth because none of my parents wanted to take care of him, and I'm the only person in the world who gave him the father figure everyone deserves. I feel that he has the right to know what he is to me and what I truly am to him, but he's suffered enough already, and I just want things to continue how it is. Am I the asshole? Would I be the asshole if I let him know the truth?
No, you're not the asshole. Everyone determined you're not the asshole. You're not the asshole. It's not your family's business to try and butt in and say it's wrong. It's not wrong. You are basically his father. It doesn't matter what he calls you. You are his legal guardian. You are his father. Whether or not you want him to call you his father or your wife his mother or your kids his siblings.
He enjoys it.
Yeah, but that is the case. And I like that you haven't told him because his parents are assholes. They are the assholes in this situation, and the rest of the family telling you that it's weird or not right to not have them know is wrong because he is the father figure. He is the one who stepped up. And the real parents are now considered probably the grandparents. And guess what? They're probably very glad that they're not having to be parents right now. So why let them know that their grandparents are assholes who don't take the time to be responsible, take care of the kid they decided to have, and why not just let him grow up in a nice household with a loving mother and father and grow up knowing that they're loved, and that is the way it should be. I don't think it is anyone's business to tell them how to take care of any of the kids they have, including their technically brother, but also son, because legal guardianship. I don't think it's wrong at all, and I think it's actually really sweet, but I think they know that. The one thing in the story that I will poke a hole in, because everyone's going to say it's fake, your parents were 42 when they had this kid? Both of them?
Some women don't go through menopause until really late in their life. Menopause, really late. Some women. That's what I said.
Yeah. I guess I don't know. I'm boy brain. Anyways, give your thoughts on our last Reddit story.
Your main question was, would I be the asshole if I told him? Or was that the main question? What was...
For not telling.
Would I be the asshole if I let him know the truth? That was his main question. If he had told... If OP had told his son that he was his brother actually. I don't think that's what it says. Would I be the asshole if I let him know the truth? Because I think he wants to tell his brother because he feels bad that he doesn't know.
Am I the asshole for letting my brother call me dad and refusing to tell him that? So it's
But he
different.
also, I think, wants to. The story is a little bit confusing, but at the end he said, would I be the asshole if I tell him the truth? If he wanted to, I don't think he'd be the asshole. I think that it's weird that the family is so like on him about not telling the kid that he's his brother and letting him call him dad. I think it's weird that the family is so against it. I think you should tell him at some point during his life, maybe before he turns like 20. But I don't think he'd be the asshole for not telling him, because I think the kids went through enough already, and I think telling him would just kind of spin his whole life around. It reminds me of a book I read in English where this kid grew up his whole life believing in God and thinking it was okay to die because he was supposed to, and then his pastor told him that he was lying to him, and it sent him through like a midlife crisis at 13. Yeah, I think if you did tell him, it might fuck with him a little bit, but I think at least 20 you should tell him. I think he has the right to know.
I don't think it matters much. But it is what it is.
I would want to know.
I don't think I'd care. I think I'd rather not know. All right. Anyways, with all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed our 6 stories. Let us know which one was your favorite, some of your opinions, what you think. I had a great time, and I really appreciate you gathering these stories for us to read, to judge, and to enjoy. You are ever so sweet and ever so kind for doing so, and you did a great job. I don't read well, guys. I go watch the other ones. I don't know if you can tell, but I don't read well. She did a magnificent job, and I do really appreciate it.
Did you like the stories that I picked? Why are you lip syncing my words? That freaked me out. Did you like the stories that I picked?
Yes, and how would I lip sync your words?
I don't know. You just did it. You'll see it.
Okay. Yes, I enjoyed them. What was your favorite?
Probably the poop one, just 'cause it's fun, or maybe the last one. I don't know.
My favorite was the underwear. I love that dad. That dad's fun. I like him. The poop one I think is pretty outrageous. But it was all a lot of fun. I think my least favorite was actually the last one, only 'cause I feel like they just wrote it in there to look good. But either way, still had a lot of fun. You guys would do me the favor, like, comment, subscribe. What are you doing? If you watch this far, I love you. Thank you. I could praise you right now and create a shrine and talk about you and write you in a notebook and devote my life to you and create a religion based off of you. Thank you so very much. But if you enjoyed this, there's other Am I the Asshole Reddit videos we've done. We're going to do more. We have 2K, Fugglers, everything you could ever want, boxing videos, a bunch of fun stuff. But with all that said, enjoy basketball, enjoy Fugglers, enjoy Reddit Am I the Asshole stories, and most importantly, enjoy life. Do you have any words to leave them with before I say the last thing?
I want to go roller skating really bad, and we're going to see Final Destination.
Very exciting. And we have matching pants. Also very exciting. And new blanket.
And matching tattoos.
Woo! You. Anyways, guys, I hope you had a fun time. And most importantly, enjoy life. Stay blessed.